The most explosive horror movie of 2024, The Substance, is here, packed with high-energy scenes that will leave your legs weak. You won't believe the risks the director took with this film. It's a blood-soaked feast for the senses, blending an extreme, insane aesthetic with a mix of visual shock and psychological horror, taking the film to a whole new level. It even won the Best Screenplay Award in the main competition at the 77th Cannes Film Festival, and was also nominated for the Palme d'Or. Pretty impressive, right? This may not be a film for everyone, but it's definitely a movie that will make you think long after the credits roll. Hey everyone, today we're diving into the wildest horror movie of 2024, The Substance. It's a blood-soaked psychological ride that's going to mess with your mind
and your senses.
The story revolves around Elizabeth, a former Hollywood star. In her 50s now, she only gets brief appearances on a fitness show. Sadly, the company wants to replace her with a younger, prettier star. Elizabeth is no longer the young, beautiful celebrity she once was. She's past her prime. As she watches workers tear down her billboard, she's overwhelmed with emotion, forgetting she's still driving. And when things go wrong, they really go wrong. Elizabeth crashes her car. A young male doctor checks her over, feeling along her spine. Thankfully, she's okay. But before he leaves, he hands her a mysterious USB drive and says, "You're the perfect candidate." Curious, Elizabeth watches the contents of the USB when she gets home. It reveals a newly developed substance that can unlock her DNA and create a younger version of herself. Desperate to avoid facing her aging appearance, she goes to the designated location and purchases the substance. After injecting the green substance into her arm, dizziness hits her. Then, intense, tearing pain courses through her body. She's fully conscious but unable to move. Something feels like it's wriggling in her back, and her pupils split into two. Then, her entire back splits open, revealing fresh, youthful skin beneath. Her eyes multiply, and a younger body emerges from inside her, staring at her old body lying on the floor and the younger version of herself in the mirror. Elizabeth is completely stunned, but this new body isn't exactly Elizabeth. She calls herself Susu. Susu stitches up the wound on Elizabeth's back and injects her with a solution from the substance. As Elizabeth begins to recover, she notices something strange. She's starting to get nosebleeds. Because Susu was created using Elizabeth's spinal fluid, she needs to keep extracting more from Elizabeth in order to survive. For 7 days, Elizabeth's life is sustained by IV fluids, while Susu gets to live freely. Every 7 days, they switch. Susu falls into a coma, and Elizabeth wakes up. Susu auditions for a TV show and immediately catches the casting team's attention. Young and beautiful, Susu easily takes over the position Elizabeth once had. From that day on, Susu becomes a shining star, radiating youth while also managing the treatments for herself and Elizabeth. On the 7th day, it's Elizabeth's turn to wake up while Susu falls into a deep sleep. Touching the young body, Elizabeth isn't sure what to feel. She had thought she could regain her youth, but instead, she ended up creating a younger version of herself, while she remains the same. They don't share a soul. Susu feels more like Elizabeth's daughter, but the game has started, and there's no turning back. Elizabeth has no choice but to continue using the substance. This cycle continues until Susu is no longer satisfied with her limited time. She loves her life now and wants more time to enjoy her youth. She breaks into the bathroom, creates a secret compartment, and traps Elizabeth inside. Then she brings home a new boyfriend. Susu wants to live a full life, but as she's having fun with her boyfriend, suddenly she starts bleeding from her nose. It's the 7th day and time for the swap. Panicking, she stumbles to the compartment. Desperate for more time, she extracts more of Elizabeth's spinal fluid and injects it into herself. But then, what happens now? What can you do when the rules are already set? After what feels like an eternity, Elizabeth finally wakes up. She sees the mess in the room and realizes just how wild Susu had been. But the worst part, one of her fingers has aged horribly. Elizabeth immediately knows what Susu did to her. She calls the drug company, asking if there's any way to reverse the effects. The answer is no. This is the game's rule. The more time the new body gets, the faster the old one will age. It looks pretty bad, but don't worry. Susu and I,
we're just good friends.
If you love psychological horror that gets under your skin, make sure to watch The Substance in the first link in the description of this video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more breakdowns of the craziest movies out there.